The sun is out, the smoker is lit, it's time to crack some boxes. Hey everybody, welcome to Castle Hives, Northeast Ohio Beekeeping. Now today what we're going to do, it is like 61 degrees, sunny out, the girls are flying. What I want to do now is get a jump start on my season. Now, would I normally do this? No. Do I suggest you do this? No. You do your thing. I'm doing my thing right here. So what I want to do, everybody has heard me saying I'm switching over to a single brood management system. Now what I'm going to do is, where we can see that there are double deeps, there are 2 deep bodies, I am going to condense that down to 1 and then put a medium super, like a honey box, on here. That way my queen will be forced down, okay? Hopefully she's going to build out that lower box, move up, start working on that honey super. Once she starts laying up this top, that honey box, I'm going to put a queen excluder, put her down below, so she will be forced to lay only in that bottom box. Now, a 10 frame box. I would not try this with an 8 frame box just because they would be so crowded that odds are you're just going to be pumping out swarms. But since they're laying down below, all of their nectar stores, they're going to store up top. Now this method, you really have to stay on top of them as far as space to put that nectar when they bring it in. So how many honey supers? Well, I'm going to probably have 3 on every colony. Now I'm going to put 2 on it at first, give them room, play it by ear. I'll do my inspections, see how they're, packing in nectar. If they need more, I add more. Really key that you stay on top of them doing this. Now, what my plan is today is, like this one here is just a single box. I want to check and see how that looks. If they need, another box on there, I'll put it on. These other ones, what I want to do is see how that looks, and if I can get them down into 1 deep and then put this medium super on it, I will, just to start that process of transitioning these to a 1 deep setup. Now, could I, when I take this deep off, could I use that above as a honey super? I could. I probably am going to do that. I'll probably have 2 medium boxes, and then I will put a deep above that. The only problem with that is if you have bad back, if you can't lift heavy boxes, a 10 frame deep is going to weigh in excess of 60 pounds, 70 pounds. So if you can't lift those boxes when they're filled, I don't suggest you use deeps as honey supers. But let me start this out. This is my first time that I'm going to crack this seal on here. So excited to see how these colonies are doing. I had some losses in the winter. Really bummed about that. You can see in the back row that I've got my fabric down. I need to do that in the front here. I need to get another roll of fabric. Probably going to pick that up today and do that this next week. But really excited. So let's get into this first colony here and see what they show us. Wow. So you can see very small, very small colony here. There's the queen right there. So this colony here we saw is very small. I'm just going to have to watch that. Hopefully that queen starts laying here shortly. I don't want to lose another colony. All right, now we can see in here, this is my strong microbials, and we can see they have taken almost that entire thing. All right, I can see bees just over in here. Another one that is fairly small coming out of the winter. Brood pattern here also. And there's the queen right there. Now, what I'm going to do with her is I'm going to mark her. There she is. Okay. Marked queen. I'm going to check this colony here. Oh man, look at that. So this is probably the largest colony that I've seen so far. Well, this colony here is doing really well. I mean, we can see just a large amount of pollen there. We've got brood here. All right, look at that amount of brood right there. Okay, now you can see the configuration here, and this is what I'm going to do. We've got one deep and then one medium. Now, this colony is really doing well. So far, this is probably my best colony. This year, I'm going to stick to a plan. I will probably pull some splits, off of this one, of course. The others, they're just going to have to build up. You can see the girls just laying all over me. But this colony here is switched over. Now, when it gets time that there's loads of brood down there already, when she starts working up here and laying it up, in a couple weeks here, hopefully, it'll probably be sooner than that, there's going to be a queen excluder put here and another super added. So right away, they're going to have all that room. We'll see if it works out. I mean, I've done my research on it. It's what I feel will be best for me. But, this colony here doing really well. So you can see I'm bringing in loads of pollen. That is great. So on to the next one. All right, well, we can see a little bit of brood in here. So there is a queen. I see some larvae also. So queen made it. This was that one that I kept having bees get up top, and I was just afraid that the queen was going to get up there. All right, well, I got the colonies there done. This one here I did not get to yet. It's getting too late. It's getting too cool. I don't want to risk, having chilled brood, ripping apart the boxes. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 71 degrees, so I can come over after work, 4:30 or so, and it's going to be around 70, and I can do this one last box. I'll probably work in the honey building there a little bit as well, just I need to get some things organized. But basically what I did, and you can see there, I removed a deep, and on the colonies that were strong enough, I put a honey super, a medium on. Now, I'm going to let them build out, and then, the queen is going to end up going into that lower deep, and then I'm going to put a queen excluder so that hopefully, I just run that single brood chamber, and then I can, capitalize on a decent honey crop. We'll see. Now, I did have 2 colonies in the front that were kind of small. You saw that. It's that time of year, though, and I actually saw some wet nectar. So I'm hoping that, they are... I know the one is from a Caucasian line, so I'm hoping that, once Mother Nature says, hey, we have food out here for you, that they just turn it on and they grow. That colony will be one that I work on. Now, could I always, from another colony, once that one starts building up, could I pull a frame of brood out and put it in there? Yes. Right now is not the time to do that, though, simply because there are not enough bees in there to cover the brood, and that brood would probably die anyways. So I need to let that colony build some and then supplement it. So, my colonies here, yeah, my winter, this was probably one of my worst winters that I've had in about 3 years. I had almost a 50% loss. That's beekeeping. I mean, you all saw that I treated, I used Apivar, I used oxalic acid, I did mite washes. It just, it's one of those bewildering things in beekeeping. If everything was perfect, well, everything would be perfect. But it's not the world we live in, and that's why I share everything that I do on my YouTube channel. So, those that want to follow along. Now, this was my first step in towards transitioning to that single brood chamber. We'll see. I mean, am I going to probably screw up a couple things? Yeah, I probably will. But I'm going to share everything so that if anyone out there wants to learn and they're like, hey, maybe I want to try that, you can watch me and I'll show you everything that I do. If it works, well, then I'm not saying this is definitely what you should do. This is what I'm doing right here, and it's working in this environment right here. So Northeast Ohio. Would it work down south? I don't know. So I might even quote, there's a famous beekeeper out there, this is a how I do, not a how to. So, and I go by that same philosophy. And I also go by the philosophy of 100% transparency. So, you know, that's a dead out. Could I have done better? Probably. But we'll see. But I'm going to get on in. The girls were active today. This colony here also is one of my more active colonies, so I'm curious as to what's in this. But I need to jump on the opportunity now before they're really huge, and I need to get these condensed down into a deep and then a medium. So I'll do that tomorrow. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and it is about to get real in Northeast Ohio. So you all take care, and like I always say, until the next one.